Everyone here has done bad things. Shadow ops. Robbing government labs. Contract kills.
Yeah, so?
So, someone wants us gone.
And here we go.
It's the comic book bullies.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
It's the comic book bullies.
You will bow down before me!
It's the comic book bullies.
Now I am the master.
It's the comic book bullies. It's the comic book bullies.
All right, give it to me.
The following contains offensive language and spoilers. Listener discretion is advised. I can't stand the rain.
It's my window.
I can't
Me, I'm
when the
super
rain
fly.
hits my window.
Super fly. I know we're doing two different songs, but yeah.
On some endo.
All right, so welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies. Nerds You Can Bully Me, host Leroy, aka I think this movie was talking about Trump, with my co-host.
Oh yeah, this is Eli, aka R2 D-Lo. D-D-D-D-D-Lo.
There we go.
I can't stand the rain. No.
Boom, boom. And also to our third co-host, the AI. You know what? Eli, I almost started to ask AI who would win between a man versus gorilla fight. And I was like, that was a week old. I should ask him last week. That's okay. We'll know when something else viral goes on next week. We'll ask them then and see what their answer is.
Well,
We'll get them involved in the conversation. Exactly. Because we got to get them involved in the conversation. If we don't, what are we doing? You know. All right. So,
we
like I
have to
said,
think for ourselves. God damn it.
Exactly.
Who wants to do that shit?
Right. So today is Cinco de Mayo. Everybody knows that. Your rent's due, motherfucker.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
What movie did they come from, Eli? I want to see if I'm testing your movie knowledge.
What's that? What'd you say?
Your rent's due, motherfucker.
Oh, what is that? I don't know. Actually, I don't know what that is.
Coming to America.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay. Catch you off guard. Okay, but anyway. But yesterday, technically it's yesterday, or was May the 4th. So you know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Happy 13th anniversary to Marvel's Avengers.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because they dropped on May 4th. Yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah, I remember that weekend.
Yeah, they had to do something. That was a big weekend. Because
that
the
was
thing
a big
is,
weekend.
Yeah, because Eli, I hate to say it, but yeah, May the 4th has been canceled. Because of your boy.
My boy.
So, yeah, your boy. You know I was going to do it, Eli. You know I was going to do it.
I've seen that been floating around, yeah.
That's been floating around. And you know what's messed up? This is from the official White House account.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it. I'm like, that's what we do. And the day before he did the Pope. So, yeah. And my thing is this, he posted this like he's some hero, stuff like that. Does he not know that the red lightsaber is for the bad guys? That's going to the dark side?
Oh, he don't watch no stuff.
I know he don't know that. I know somebody in his camp did that. And they probably laughed at his ass like when they gave him Bane quotes and shit like that. America's yours. Do as you please. Or whatever the fuck he said. I can't remember what he said. But
he ain't
that
no
shit like
Jedi.
That.
He ain't
right.
no Jedi. Or a Sith. Or Jabba. He's Salacious Crumb.
Actually, I think he is Jabba.
Nah, he ain't even that cool. He's Salacious Crumb, the little rat fig that sleeps in an ass. Sleeps in Jabba's asshole.
So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I'm celebrating Star Trek, so fuck that. Live long and prosper, motherfuckers. There you go. Because your boy fucked that shit up. So yeah. All right. So what we got next?
I ain't my boy. You're the one following him, man.
I'm not following. I'm part of the 78%. I'm not going to explain what that meant. People know what that means. So we're going to move on past that.
Yeah, I didn't know about this till everyone else posted that shit.
Yeah, once I posted, everybody else started posting. I was like, "Oh shit, I've not done that." Okay. Anyway, we're gonna move on past it because, like I said, we are gonna talk about Star Wars because Eli, you saw a Star Wars project that happened today.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna talk about it because I know you told me it was Live from the Underground, and I thought like it was like a Nas biopic or some shit. You know,
Lords of the Underground.
Yeah, you know.
Number one chief rocker. Number one chief rocker.
Somebody, it's about breakdancing. I mean, you know. Let's see what we got. Is this live? No, we are not. We are not live. This is recorded. But thanks for talking, Pro Bagel. I can't read that, Eli. 13, 16.
I can't. Yeah, what's the point in answering fucking?
Yeah, sorry about
I can't even
that.
read
I will
half
give
of
you
shit.
imaginary Monopoly money if you can. Trying anything that. Oh no! Why would we do that? Why would we do that? We're not doing that. I know people that didn't read that don't know what we're talking about, but whatever he said, we're not doing that. So yeah. Thanks for listening. All right. So Eli, we're gonna talk about Live from the Underground.
Tales of the Underworld.
Tales of the Underworld. Okay. Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another animated show dropped today, May the 4th. And I gotta say, this is pretty cool. So
yes, we are totally pre-recorded.
Yeah. So yeah, dropped today, May the 4th. Animated. Had 2 arcs. The first arc involved Asajj Ventress, who appeared on The Bad Batch, the last season of The Bad Batch, and we're like, what the hell? What is Asajj Ventress doing alive? We all thought she was dead, you know. And they addressed it, you know. So Asajj Ventress, Count Dooku's apprentice. He was like, she was like his personal assassin. She did all his dirty work for him, tried to kill Anakin, all that shit. Had a falling out with Dooku and Palpatine and shit, and the Clone Wars. But then she left the Sith and became like a gangster, criminal, smuggler. You know? And then she, in the book Dark Apprentice, she had a love affair with Quinlan Vos, the native adjacent Jedi. You know?
Native coded.
Yes, yeah. The indigenous like the Jedi. We claim, you know.
Hey, we claim Panthro from Thundercats, so we understand. So
we natives kind of claimed Quinlan Vos as a native Jedi. Anyways, in that book, that was actually supposed to be an episode of the Clone Wars. There's that story on where Quinlan Vos goes undercover and, you know, hooks up with Asajj Ventress to go take out Dooku. That was supposed to be a Clone Wars episode, but then the show got canceled by Nickelodeon. This is when they were still on Nickelodeon. So it got canceled. They scrapped that story. They scrapped that episode, and it became a novel, Dark Disciples. You know, in that novel, Asajj Ventress dies. Gets killed by Count Dooku.
Is that canon, right?
And that's canon. Yes, they say everything from the Clone Wars is canon. But then the Bad Batch happened, and then she showed up on there, and like, hey, what's she doing alive? You know, why? You know, what's going on? So did they retcon something we didn't know? Well, this show addresses that. Addresses how Asajj Ventress came back to life. And it begins with Quinlan. Yeah, Quinlan Vos makes an appearance. There's a scene that begins with Quinlan and Obi-Wan taking Asajj Ventress's body back to Dathomir. Yes, Dathomir is the planet with the Night Sisters, where Darth Maul is from. The Night Sisters are witches who can bring people back to life. So they brought her back to life. You know, and they gave her a choice. You know, if you you can come back to life, but your heart's desire, it'll cost you your biggest heart's desire. And she was in love with Quinlan, you know, and she really wanted to go back to him, but that would cost her.
Because they had that forbidden love. He's Jedi and the other side.
Yeah. So, but she comes back to life and she gets involved in some criminal shit, and then she finds this Padawan kid. So now it is official. What's this kid's name? Crap, I forgot his name already. Let me check it real quick. Hold up. Oh, shit. You still there?
With you out there. I ain't gonna wear. Are you still there? Okay. Eli?
Are you there?
Oh, I never left, man. I promise you I've been here the whole time.
I can hear you. Okay. Lyco Strada. That's his name. His name's Lyco Strada. And this is he's voiced by Lane Factor, who played Cheese on Reservation Dogs. So now it's official. We have an indigenous Jedi.
There you go.
So there, happy May the 4th, motherfucker. And he gets down. He uses like he like kills stormtroopers and shit.
Okay, so there's a Quinlan Voss episode in here.
Yeah, well, she's only in that one scene, but she's trying to find him, and he actually mentions him like, "Hey, I'm a Padawan. I survived Order 66. Quinlan Voss is basically rounding up Jedi survivors, and he's taking them to some hideout. Blah 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 blah." And I don't know if you remember the Obi-Wan show. Quinlan Voss's name appeared on the wall in one scene to confirm that he was still alive. You know.
Okay.
So, and he's like working with some underground network, you know. So Asajj Ventress decides to escort this kid to go find Quinlan Voss. Yeah. So that's kind of like the story arc, you know. So that was one story arc, and then there was the Cad Bane story arc. Cad Bane, the bounty hunter.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, this was dope. We start out with Cad Bane as a little kid, him and his homie, little kids running around in the hood, living on the streets, you know, doing some, you know, wilding out, doing some hood shit, trying to survive on the streets. And they get recruited by a gangster, you know, to do like, you know, grimy shit for them and shit. And then they get caught, but Cad Bane actually escapes. And then his friend gets busted. And then years later, Cad Bane's in the gang. He's doing mob shit, you know, doing gangster shit. He goes back to his home planet, and his friend grew up to be a cop.
Oh, damn.
So it's like heat. Just that first episode where they were running around as little kids, that first Cad Bane episode was better than the entire Boba Fett series. Like,
damn. It redeemed itself.
Yeah, like what the hell? Like this is what Boba Fett needed to be, you know. It's just like really like this animated show is better than everyone. That's the thing. Everyone bitches about Kathleen Kennedy. She's ruining Star Wars. Blah, 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 blah. No, fuck that. Filoni and Favreau fucked up Fett.
I thought that was your guys, man. I thought that was your guys.
No, they fucked up. They fucked up Boba Fett.
Okay, hold on. Were they your guys before they fucked up it? Or
they
you
were
just
doing
never
fine.
like you got it together? They were doing fine.
Oh,
Okay, because it feel like you switched up on them. Okay.
Filoni did the Clone Wars. Yes, I love the Clone Wars. But they fucked up Boba Fett. And that's kind of where they lost me again.
Okay, so when they fucked up Boba Fett, they lost you at that point.
Yeah, I kind of had
you was riding with them until then. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of like, they lost me with the prequels. Then I jumped on the Clone Wars. I'm okay, this is cool. And then they kind of lost me during the Rey era a little bit. But then the Mando came on. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then the Boba Fett show came out. I'm like, yeah, they got my hopes up. And then Boba Fett sucked. And I'm like, okay, now it's like, whatever, yeah. So I take it as it comes, don't give me hope anymore, So that was like the one thing okay, cool, a Boba Fett show. Something I've always wanted since I was a kid. And they, shit the bed on that one. So
yeah. But
I'm just saying, like this is grimy street shit. Like and Cad Bane's a piece of shit in this one.
Which is what you've been asking for.
Yeah. This is grimy shit. Like, yeah.
Man, he grew up on Clone Wars. Damn.
Yeah, what's he say? I can't even see that. Cool.
Thanks
for listening.
But yeah.
Yeah, Clone Wars is great. The show.
Yeah, but think about how old is Clone Wars? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, at least 10 years old now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
like
when you think about it.
Like 2008 was when that movie came out or whatever.
Right.
So
that movie's not canon, right?
Yeah, it is. All the Clone Wars stuff is canon.
Okay, because I thought that movie was a canon. You said the movie was canon. Okay, all right.
No, it leads right into the show.
Okay, cool.
Well, not technically, but yeah, the movie is involved, and that's where Ahsoka makes her first appearance.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right, I know that's what he made. That's why I didn't know if they like retconned or something like that. But okay.
No. But yeah, I mean, I and that's the cool thing is like a lot of these animated shows are some of the best Star Wars shit around. Like Rebels was cool, Clone Wars was cool, Visions is cool, and yeah, we've had Tales of the Empire, we've had Tales of the Jedi. That was cool with young Dooku. You know, shows how Dooku turned to the dark side. Like there's some cool, like, and they're short. You know, they're short episodes. So I watched this. I mean, it was only 6 episodes. I watched them in, you know, a couple hours. You know, so it was cool. No, this was great. I really dug on this, especially the Cad Bane episode. I'm stoked that we have a native Jedi. I would like to see more of that. Who knows? Maybe we'll, you know, Asajj Ventress will get her groove back and reunite with Quinlan Vos one of these days. So yeah, it was cool. I really dug on this. You know, it was a breath of fresh air, especially trying to get through the dark. Talk about dark, gritty shit on Andor.
Right.
You know, which is cool too. I'm digging that. I only watched 2 episodes this week. I didn't watch the third one. So.
The third one, okay. Yeah, you got to pace yourself, man.
Yeah, it gets deep and dark and gets deep. You really got to pay attention to that show. But I gotta say, this week, Saw Gerrera, yeah, that motherfucker's crazy. They're really showing the tragedy of how Saw Gerrera is. The tragedy.
Is this
that
the first time
Saw
he's shown
Gerrera.
up since Rogue One?
No, he was on last season.
He was? Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he's nuts. That motherfucker's crazy. His whole crew's crazy. They're all nuts.
Who is that? Probag? Yeah, Probag. You got nothing on Eli. I'll put money on Eli on anybody in Star Wars knowledge.
What's that? Oh,
he was saying he thought he was a Star Wars geek. Like, nah, you got nothing on Eli.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
put money on you, Eli. I will send you to tournaments, Eli.
I'm old. I saw all.
I know I would get my money back.
Yeah, I saw every Star Wars movie in the theater. Every Star Wars movie in the theater. So yeah, I'm old. Even the Clone Wars.
Even Last Skywalker, the Disney ones.
Yeah.
Last Jedi. I didn't see Last Jedi in the theaters.
Oh, really?
Man, I was so broke. Like I literally could. It was like $15 or food. It was really that bad around that time. So yeah, I'm doing better now, but still.
No, there are events, yeah. Solo, yeah.
Yeah. Is Star Wars more important than food? That's how you know if you're a geek.
You know what? I saw a commercial. I think it was a Metro commercial or a cell phone commercial. They're going, the price of groceries are going up. But you know what's still affordable? A new cell phone. Like, oh, there you go. Don't eat, buy a new phone.
Right. They will find ways to get you. So
but no, this was cool. I really dug on this show. It was cool.
Cool. All right. And we move on next topic.
4 out of 5. Yeah, go on.
4 out of 5.
Now,
you said it was 2 episodes, right?
No, it was like 6. But each story arc is, I think, broken up in 3 episodes. Each story arc.
Okay. So 6 episodes, 3 story arcs. Boom, 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 boom.
Or 2 story arcs.
2 story arcs.
2 story arcs and 3, like a trilogy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Wish you could be in 1977. What a time to be alive.
It was, yeah, it was, I guess, bell bottoms and shit.
All right, so we're gonna move on. Wait, are we gonna do this? We're gonna do this. I didn't do it. You know what? That's okay. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna do a fan favorite, Eli. Your favorite. You know what we're doing. The box office numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Did Thunderbolts win?
Oh, Thunderbolts win. We're gonna see. Did Sinners win again? Let's see. All right, so we're gonna throw this bad boy up on screen. Boom. Let's see what we got. So what are the numbers?
Oh,
Honestly,
wow.
I didn't look at it either. I just kind of just threw it up there. So yes, Thunderbolts is number 1. Sinners did 33, which is still pretty damn good. So yeah. We got some other movies. Oh, remember that Until Dawn movie that I was gonna see? That video game movie? Every report out there says that movie sucks. One of the worst video game movies ever made. So
That's what I hear.
Yeah, not doing that, not touching that. So yeah.
Even as a horror movie, it sucks.
Oh yeah, it is a horror movie. So I figured you'd be into that too. So yeah, it's a video game movie. I went into a horror movie. You went into it. So that's a double no for us on that. So yeah. Throwing back up there. So people want to act like, how did it do as a number? Of course, 77 is pretty high. However, that is lower than Captain America: Brave New World, which people consider a flop. So if you look at the whole tapestry of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think this is the second or third lowest grossing opening weekend or something like that. So yeah, like I said, Marvel just print money on it, and they might need to, I don't know, rethink some things. But that's what's going on right now. So like I said, so now we're going to, and I'm gonna throw up some graphics and shit like that. Now we're going to start because we're here. A lot of people want to tune in for the Thunderbolts. We're talking about the Thunderbolts because I don't know if you've been hearing the chatter online, Eli. A lot of things people have been talking about the Thunderbolts. Some people are saying it's Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is saying it's one of the best MC movies ever made.
That's what I'm hearing.
Some people online saying the movie sucked. Some people online are saying it's the best MCU movie since Endgame. Some people are saying it's the first good movie since Endgame. Some people are saying it's just as mid as every other MCU movie. So I've never seen an MCU movie with this wide of a range of, and I've been trying to hear the chat and see what's going on, but people are all over the place this movie. So that's going on right now. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Thunderbolts.
Well, your opinion's the only one that matters, remember.
And that's my opinion on it. Like I said, now as far as like deep dive in, I didn't do any deep dives and see what I just was like surface level shit, just seeing, okay, this is kind of get a feel for what's going on right now. And I'm like, man, people all over the place this movie. My own timeline, people are like, this movie sucked. This movie is great. People are everywhere with this movie. So I'm gonna just tell you what I thought about it. Now, Eli, like I said, when I tell you what I think about the movie, I am not here to sell you on this movie. I'm just gonna tell you what I thought about it. If you hear to me, you need to sell you on Thunderbolts, you had the wrong podcast. So thanks for listening. But we're gonna jump into it. But before we get into that, we're gonna talk about the Thunderbolts comic wise. Let's just jump into it. Okay, we're gonna do some deep dive Thunderbolts. Now, like I said, I am not a Thunderbolt. I am not the Star Wars of Thunderbolts. Like Eli is with that. I'm not that. I know of them. I've heard of them. I'm kind of familiar with them. We're going to jump into it. So, Thunderbolts start.
Demo, that's all I know.
It goes a little deeper. I'm going to bring up Baron Zemo. It goes a little bit deeper than that. It actually starts with Onslaught. No, not that. Sorry, wrong graph. Onslaught. That's what I meant to say. Okay, it starts with Onslaught. Now, we're supposed to start with Onslaught. Onslaught was fucking the Avengers up. Fantastic Four, blah, 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 blah. Also, let's take that. The point is, he was about to kill the Avengers. And Franklin Richards, who you may know when the Fantastic Four movie come out, I don't know the player. He absorbed the Avengers into a pocket dimension of his own choosing to save them from getting killed by Onslaught. And they stayed there for like, I don't know, whatever time like that. While they were gone, there was just this vacuum open that there were no Avengers. So in that vacuum, in came, boom, the Thunderbolts. Keep in mind.
Wait, when the fuck did that come out? When did they?
1997. They're old as fuck.
Seven?
Yeah.
97.
Yes.
I thought they were old. Am I thinking of the Defenders? Maybe I'm thinking of the Defenders. I thought they were around for a while, like way earlier. Like
what? 1997 is long as hell, man.
No, I'm thinking like before that. I thought they was like, I was thinking like the 70s and shit. But
the Thunderbolts?
No. Yeah. No, they're not that old.
Yeah. But
I'm probably thinking of Defenders.
Or Champions or some shit like that.
Maybe,
so many New Warriors.
Another team.
Marvel will crank them out. Don't worry, we're with them. But the point is, the Thunderbolts came around in that meantime while the Avengers was gone, and they became the newest Earth's mightiest heroes. But the big twist was they weren't heroes. They were really villains. They were Masters of Evil led by Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo just started his own superhero team to kind of like get everybody's trust so he can basically rob people. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Point was, everybody else in the team liked being heroes, so they stayed being heroes. They kicked Baron Zemo out and they became heroes and shit like that. So that's why some people are saying that they kind of mad that they wish they would have did the Thunderbolts accurate comic, because the movie, okay, is the movie like the comic? No and yes. Because that was the first iteration of the Thunderbolts, like in 1997. But there have been so many different versions of the Thunderbolts. They pretty much just slapped Thunderbolts on the name of a team and just called it a day. Just get it. They changed the status quo of it. It's just whatever. It's mostly, villains, anti-heroes, and assassin murderers, like the Suicide Squad superhero team.
Yeah.
Sometimes it ain't. Sometimes it's just, Hawkeye and some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
Yeah, I remember the run I read had like Venom and shit on it.
Venom was in it. Yeah.
Bullseye. I think Bullseye was on it.
Deadpool was in it.
Yeah, Deadpool was on it. Yeah, I think that was the one.
I mean, it's like, if you're an anti-hero, you've been in the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts got so many iterations. It's not, so you can't really say they're not doing the version of Thunderbolts, because they've done so many different versions of Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts is not just Baron Zemo and some ex-villains just doing bullshit. Luke Cage was a Thunderbolt. I mean, they just do shit. So
Ghost Rider.
yeah, they don't care, man. They just Marvel would just say Thunderbolts, bam, slap that shit on there and just sell it. They don't care, you know. All right. So that being said, we're gonna dig into it. We're gonna go into the team of not the team of the comic, because I don't give a shit about that team. I don't give a shit about Powerhouse and whoever the fuck was on it, screaming Mimi and bullshit. Fuck them. We're gonna talk about the actual roster of the book. I mean, roster of the movie. We're gonna start off with Yelena Belova, aka she was the Black Widow of the 90s, and yes, she was a Thunderbolt. She was on the second version of the team, shit like that. Like for the 90s, she was Black Widow. That's just what it was. She was there. Yeah, that's it. Also, remember, Bucky. We know Bucky. For those who know first appearance of Bucky, Captain America Comics #1. That's what Bucky here. Funny thing about it, the reason you don't why Bucky is more popular in the movies than is in the comics is because of Stan Lee. Stan Lee hated teen sidekicks. He hated them. So he actually killed off Bucky in Avengers 4. And he made a rule saying there's two people you cannot bring back. Uncle Ben and Bucky. You can't touch them. Eventually they amended that rule and they brought back Bucky and he became the Winter Soldier and all that bullshit like that. But probably because Jason Todd came back. Who cares? Point is, he came back. Yeah. Brubaker did do that run. Yeah. Who else we got? Ghost. Ghost was an Iron Man villain back in the 80s, I think, like that. Like espionage spy going there, work for Hydra, AIM or some bullshit. Whatever. Also, remember the Thunderbolts. He was a member of he was a member of the Thunderbolts. I forgot they whatever. You know what they do. Point is, but no one cares. Nobody cares about Ghost. So yeah, you can do that. I bitched about this. This is honestly, I forgot who this was. This is Taskmaster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You look at it, you like, who the fuck is this? Yeah,
who's
it's
that?
Taskmaster. Yes. and we bitched about that. It's funny we let Ghost slide, but Taskmaster raised hell. We raised hell over that. So yeah, that's because we don't give a shit about Ghost, but Taskmaster's a fan favorite. Taskmaster fights everybody. He fights Daredevil. He fights Spider-Man. He fights. Yeah. They try to make him like a Black Widow villain for a while, but yeah, like whatever, you know. We're gonna talk more about Taskmaster in a second. Who else we got? John Walker, also known as U.S. Agent, was Captain America, went crazy, lost his shit, killed a bunch of people, got demoted, and became a knockoff Captain America. So they never call him U.S. Agent in the movie, and I'm so glad about that because that is a dumbass name. So they just call him Walker. That is it. So yeah. Oh yeah, he became a Sam Wilson villain for a while. I forgot about that. Yeah, because I forgot about that. There was a period of a time when they made John Walker like hardcore conservative MAGA for some reason. I don't know why. They didn't do that in the movie because he got a black wife, so they can't really do that in the movie. But yeah, Red Guardian. Okay, so Red Guardian, just like the United States of America has the Avengers, Russia has the Winter Guard. And just like every team, they have a Captain America type dude on their team. So he's the leader of the Winter Guard. They don't have the Winter Guard in there. They never explained the Winter Guard in the MCU. I'm not going to get into it. Just know it's a thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, Bob.
Oh yeah.
This is the dark horse of the whole thing. This is what, because notice that everybody I named on the team kind of sucks. So you need Bob. So.
And is he the only one with powers then?
I mean, they got powers, I guess. But Bob is the only one with powers. For those who don't know who Bob is Robert Reynolds, aka the Sentry.
Well, so, yeah, but like Ghost that's her suit that does that shit, right?
No, that's her. The suit actually like makes her materialize. Like she didn't wear the suit, she wouldn't be Corporal. So she had the suit to like keep her powers. So that's how they explained it in the movie. Like quantum bullshit. Honestly, Eli, I didn't watch Ant-Man 2 more than once, more than you did. So yeah, that's what explained all this shit. So yeah. All right. Anyway, Sentry. Honestly, I never liked Sentry. He's just another Superman ripoff. They got a ton of them in there and shit like that. That's cool. What else we got here? Oh, fuck Frank Lloyd. What am I talking about, Frank Lloyd? Who we got here? Black Widow. Oh, I completely screwed all this up. Anyway, point is, Sentry. I never really liked him because he's this Superman ripoff. He got all Superman power, but he got more power than Superman. He's just super overpowered. He's so overpowered that he's not really fun to read, or because it's like he's going to beat everybody. or go crazy and beat everybody, shit like that. Now, there are some, now, if you're talking about feats and what people have done in comics, Sentry got some like crazy ass feats. Like we always talk about World War Hulk, and Hulk just beat the shit out of everybody on the planet. Well, who took him down? Sentry took him down. People forget about that shit. Like,
isn't he like the more sadder he gets, the more powerful he gets, or some shit?
Something crazier, some shit like that.
I think that's what happened in the World War Hulk. Like,
yeah, he becomes the Void. That's the point. Like the villain of the movie isn't Sentry. The villain is the Void. So,
yeah, like his sorrow feeds his power. So you're like the anger feeds the Hulk.
Yeah. So basically, the Sentry powers in the comics, like he's the Sentry, but the more good the Sentry does, the Void will equally do the bad shit. The opposite of that. So it's kind of like yin and yang type thing. So he can't overdo it or he'll go bad. So yeah. Also, the funny thing about the Sentry is that Marvel tried to, I'm trying to remember the term, Mandela effect us. That's what they tried to do. Because they tried to pull a fast one on us and say that Stan Lee invented him. That's didn't happen. That's not the case. I don't know if that's still a rumor right now. Stan Lee has no idea didn't know who that guy was when they asked him back in 2000. What they did, they had a artist try to draw shit like Jack Kirby. They retconned it where he was like a friend of the Fantastic Four and friend of Spider-Man, shit like that. But none of that shit ever happened. They just said that shit just
so like how like Shia LaBeouf was the Silver Surfer since the 30s.
Exactly. It's always been like that. No, it was never like that. No, Sentry was invented in the 2000s. Stan Lee didn't make him. Stan Lee never heard of this motherfucker. So you're like, the who? The Sentry? What the fuck?
Read a comic book, man.
Right. And that's the thing where we're getting to. So I'm going to spoil a few things. I'm going to spoil a lot of the movie, but I'm just getting to it that not only does this movie borrow from like the 2000s, like volume 2 version of Thunderbolts, it also borrows from another book that I read, which is about Brian Michael Bendis run, The Dark Avengers. And you can see Sentry in there where you basically got a bunch of villains becoming the Avengers. So it's kind of like that, but not like that, but kind of like that. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. So that's my breakdown of Thunderbolts. Hope you know everything you need to know about the Thunderbolts. None of that shit matters for the movie. Just letting you know.
So it's basically the Suicide Squad for Marvel.
Here's the thing. Okay, I'm glad you said that, Eli, because I'm going to get into spoiler. I'm getting into it. So honestly, this movie is like broken down in 3 acts. And the first act is very much Suicide Squad. Straight up. It's just that. The second act turns into, that scene in Just League where Superman beats the shit out of Just League, turns into that. Okay. But the third act turns into Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Warriors.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's where like when you hear like the divided opinions of everybody going like that, I think that third act is dividing people. When it gets to that third act, people are just like, okay, nah, this shit too weird for me, man. Fuck this, I'm out. They want Marvel shit, not that shit. Where it gets all metaphysical and shit, so like that. They don't want that shit. So, all right, what do I think about this movie? Okay, so I'm gonna just break down some stuff I liked about this movie. Give it to you front there. Where is she? My girl. Boom. Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh. Best thing, well, I ain't gonna say she's the best thing about the movie, but she's pretty much like the main character of the movie. Like she's the heart of the movie. Pretty much every character in the movie she has like chemistry with, like she bonds with them or not bond with them, but she kind of like bounce off every character and she like makes the movie work. She's the glue of the movie. So that's the thing. Funny thing about Bucky, he actually isn't in the movie as much as you think he is. But when he's in the movie, he pops.
So let me get this straight. Just Yelena is like one of the main characters.
She's the main character, like the protagonist of the movie. Like she's the point of view character. Yeah.
And that's not woke.
I'm glad you said that. And Eli, we'll get to that about what's woke and what's not woke. And I hate using that term, but we kind of have to in this context.
But all the anti-woke anti-woke assholes aren't bitching, right?
They aren't. Well, they are, but they aren't bitching about her.
Of course,
honestly,
they want to be. Any chick they jerk off to isn't woke.
Now, here's the thing. I hate to use that term, but I'm gonna just go here. Here's the thing. Hollywood, everybody, this is how you write female characters in action movies. This is how you write her. Whatever that bullshit y'all doing before, stop that shit. Write her like you do that. Watch this movie. Watch Thunderballs or Thunderstrike. What the fuck is the movie name again? Thunderbolts. Well, that shit. Watch this shit again. Watch how they write her and write the movies like that. Because whatever bullshit y'all doing when y'all write female characters in the movies, that shit don't work. Write it like that. She was a great character. That's why nobody's complaining, because she was a great character. But also, Bucky was the leader. Black Widow was the leader. Bucky was the leader of the team. Like I said, he wasn't in the movie that much, but when he shows up, he is in the movie. He like, look, I'm in charge. Y'all shut the fuck up. Y'all do what I say. You know, and it's pretty much it. They just follow Bucky because he's A, the oldest in the group, 2, the most experienced, 3, pretty much the most powerful in there without going to Bob, you know. And he's like the biggest tactician. So yeah, and he's like the greatest assassin of the 20th century. So you kind of gotta listen to him. So yeah. Ghost is there. So yeah. Taskmaster. Oh, this motherfucker. Okay. Spoiler. She's killed in the first 5 seconds. Well, 5 minutes or so.
Oh, okay.
By Ghost. So yeah, that's it. So all of us that was bitching about Taskmaster, we hate Taskmaster, we want Taskmaster change like that. That doesn't matter because she get headshot done, and that's why you don't see her in any promotion like that, you know. So yeah, that's there. Oh, John Walker. I think they redeemed him in this. He is very much still an asshole, but you understand why he's an asshole, because from the time from Falcon Winter Soldier, he was Captain America and did all that bullshit he did. He went through some shit. You know, so even though he's still an asshole, you understand it. And I think they really did it. And you can see and the thing is, like, Bucky's the leader, but he's trying to be the leader, but he's such an asshole, nobody listens to him. So that's why he's like endearing to me. So I don't know. It just is. Red Guardian, Team's dad. That's all. Fun. You know, I think he's a little bit stronger than everybody else. I don't know, whatever shit they gave him, he just seems stronger than everybody else. So I don't know. And Bob.
The comic relief.
He is the comic relief. He's the comic relief, but he's also the heart, also, you know. But he's basically the team dad of the group, you know. And we got to talk about Bob. Bob is the best performance of the movie. It is, and it's funny that they actually cast Stephen Yeun to play this role in first.
Oh,
But
really?
because of the writer's strike, they had some shit. It's funny they got a dude that played Invincible to play Invincible or whatever you want to call it. But I'm so glad they got this dude to play it because he played the role exactly. Here's the thing. I never liked Sentry in the comics. I never did. I thought he was too overpowered, too OP, not interested in stuff like that. To me, this is the best portrayal of Sentry ever. Because the way he did it, because the guy was playing 3 roles. He was playing Bob, this beta male that just don't know what the fuck going on. Then he goes to this all-powerful being that can't do anything, to this scary-ass motherfucker that just kill a motherfucker left and right and shit like that. He's playing all 3 roles, and he's playing them great. So he's like, Bob, though, the dude that played Bob made the movie. Oh, and the dude's name is Louis Pullman, who is Bill Pullman's son, the president from Independence Day. You know? Yeah. So, and that scene, like, the apple did not fall from the tree of that. There's certain scenes like you think it's Bill Pullman, Paul Billman. You know the guy I'm talking about. Yeah.
Paul Billman.
Yeah, that guy. Guardians of the Galaxy. It's very much does feel like like it has a Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it. You know, that found family that hate each other. Because the mission, when they start off, the mission is to kill each other. That's what they're set up to do. But then they realize that, we're getting set up. We need to team up to do the shit we need to do. So they slowly become a team, and it does feel very Guardians of the Galaxy-ish, you know. But also feels very Avengers-ish, because the final battle takes place in New York. The final battle also takes place in Avengers Tower. Elaine from Seinfeld, she bought the Stark Tower. So there are very scenes. Yeah, so there are scenes in there very purposely to remind you of the Avengers. And that's very, very on purpose. I don't think they did it like Brave New World, they're doing this shit because they couldn't think of anything else. I think this was intentional. Even the theme song of the Thunderbolts sound like a variation of the Avengers. So they're trying to say that this team is like that. Oh, what else I got? Oh, the action scenes. The action scenes were great. Here's the thing. The action scenes were practical. They used actual stunt work. It wasn't a whole bunch of CGI bullshit going on. Because that's a problem with a lot of these Marvel movies, Brave New World, you know, where you turn into a video game in the middle of an action scene. You can tell it's a CGI AI stuntman going on back. And then it cuts back to the real people like, woo, Captain America. Whoa, that's some good shit you just did. Knowing he wasn't there. That, you know, Anthony Mackie was in the trailer doing some shit while some digital people just doing some bullshit. No, this was actual stunt work doing this shit hand to hand. They was going at it. And I thought it kept you engaged because it's real people there. The very first scene is Yelena Belova jumping off like a 100-story building. And I saw behind the scenes of it, it was actually really Florence Pugh on some Tom Cruise shit. They said they wouldn't let her do it. She had like sign a waiver or some shit like that to make her do it. So it was an impressive stunt work in there, great action scenes in it, all the stuff in there. But like I said, that third act is going to throw some people off because another way to explain it is that that's the closest Marvel has ever gotten to an A24 movie. And the thing is that Marvel movies and A24 movies that crowd don't mix. So this is Marvel actually trying to be real cinema. And Eli, I don't know if the crowd wants real cinema. And they want punchy. You know, they don't want a story of the Thunderbolts trying to save their friend from falling into darkness before he harmed himself and others. No, they want punchy. So
Well, you can film you can film a cool fight scene and it could be cinematic. You know?
But I don't know. Here's the thing. I didn't have a problem with it. I saw that they switched gears in the third act, and I was cool with it. I see what they're trying to do, because now the thing about this movie is that it almost had the same ending of Brave New World, where, you know, Sam Wilson talked down the villain. They do the same thing in this, talk down the villain. Because the best scene in this movie, to me, is when the Sentry kicked the shit out of them. Like, the Sentry shows up and just completely just wipes the floor with these guys. And they take off running. I'm like, wait, you can't do that in a superhero movie. You can't run. But yeah, they take off running because you got the shit beat out of them. So they know they can't fight him physically. So then they have to basically like enter his mind and then the dream world and do all that. What I'm saying, it sounds like Nightmare on Elm Street. And then the Void is basically Freddy Krueger. You know, he just pops up out of nowhere all of a sudden in their dreams and shit, you know. But then, you know, it's all heartfelt. Basically, they win. Because here's the thing. The reason why Rotten Tomatoes like going crazy over this movie, and a lot of other critics go crazy over this movie, is because they're applauding the movie for tackling, you know, mental illness, depression like that, because that's what the Sentry is. You know, he basically bipolar Superman, you know. So they're tackling that for the way they tackle that, you know, talking about how he had to go through all the things he went through, how he went through drugs and abusive family, and, you know, to become and becoming, and you got these people manipulating stuff like that and trying to get there. But like I said, the action slows down that scene. I don't know if you can do both. If you can have your cake and eat it too. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But I don't know. Maybe it got too cerebral for people that don't like this movie. But that's why the critics like that movie, because they felt like it was Marvel doing something different. Where I felt like,
well, what are these motherfuckers gonna do when the X-Men show up? Like, because that's all.
Mind
sounds
battles
like X-Men
and shit.
Yeah, like astral plane battles in the astral plane, and psychic wars.
But you said it, battles in the astral plane. Like, there's fighting. You got Professor X suiting up in psychic armor and shit like that. This ain't that. This was a therapy session. You know, inside of Sentry's head and shit like that. It wasn't no psychic battle between him and his They didn't do that shit. So yeah.
So are they in a dream sequence and they're fighting, like, you know, demon or some sort of demons that symbolize their inner demons or some shit?
Well, no, they're like reliving their memory, because that's literally, they changed the Void's powers in this movie. The Void's power is depression. Like, if he touches you and puts his hands on you, it makes you relive your worst memories, where you just despair and just don't want to do shit. Like he did this shit to John Walker. John Walker almost killed himself. So yeah, that's like, the movie goes there a few times in there. So yeah, so no, it wasn't like they did a psychic battle. Like, they literally beat Sentry by hooking it out. That was the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody's not going to be on board with that. So yeah, I'm just letting y'all know the ending of the movie right now. So like I said, I liked it, and people are saying like this movie is a game changer. It flipped Marvel in the head. I don't think so. I think it was another Marvel movie, one of the better Marvel movies post Endgame, but it wasn't no game changer. It wasn't like the best movie saying. It's not cracking my top 5. Definitely not that. You know,
They just really want to chase that dragon, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Eli. I'm about to say something controversial, Eli. Should I put a disclaimer up? You might not want to jump in this, because I'm about to say something kind of fucked up. Okay. So 2 things about this. Why people are like, why the critics is like going crazy of this movie, saying it's the best in game and change, and, you know, it's a game changer, stuff like that. One, I think it's bots. Definitely bots. Marvel's putting bots out there telling people they need to do shit. Because I saw a lot of that shit before the movie came out. People saying, oh, they cried 6 times watching the movie. Like, where? What movie you did that shit in? What in this movie? So another thing, I think, why people saying the MCU is back, even though I think this is pretty much an MCU movie number 30.
Can I say something controversial?
Please do before I go.
Why is it when something makes you cry, it's considered awesome? Who the fuck wants to cry? Like,
right.
Who wants to feel like shit? Like, what the fuck, man?
Right. Like, sometimes you want to go to a movie to have fun. I don't want to go to a movie
I don't want to
to
fucking
cry.
go there and start fucking tearing up. Like, what, that sucks.
Like, woo, let's marathon Roots. Let's do that. Like, nah, I don't want to do that shit, man.
Yeah, no shit. You know,
Right. I want to be traumatized, man. I just want to have fun and shit like that. So yeah. But some people said they cried. I didn't get it. I didn't get emotional for it. But Eli, here's the thing. Why people are saying Marvel is back with this movie. Oh, let me see if I can show the roster.
oh, you are saying that Marvel is back?
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Yeah, here's the reason I'm not saying, and I should have did a disclaimer with this one. Don't trust my opinion on any Marvel movie. Eli knows this shit, not to trust my opinion on this movie.
Yeah, you
because
like
I like
everything.
all this shit. I like everything. I like all this shit. So of course I'm going to give it a positive review on it because I like all this shit. So don't ask me what I think about this movie. I liked it. I like Captain America: Brave New World. I like the Eternals. All that shit that y'all hate, I like that shit. But the point is, what I want to point out and see. Notice on the cover, the roster of the team, Eli, that number white people.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm thinking that's why it's back because the Marvels, was, and it also had, what's another movie that came? Captain America, Brave New World, hashtag not my Captain America. So all these movies, they're saying, no, those movies suck. Like the Eternals. Had all kind of bullshit.
It's like there's a woman, like they always all these all these anti-woke assholes. Every time a woman, oh, it's woke shit, Mary Sue, blah blah blah. But it's what's her face? It's Florence Pugh Pugh, and they want to jerk off to her so that she's okay. She gets a pass because she's a hot white chick.
Right, but at the same time, she's not saving the day and shit like that.
Yeah, if Brie Larson didn't fucking speak her mind, then they would have been fine.
Right, just shut up and just don't say anything.
But she did speak up. They all angry jerk to her.
The white chick,
they hate jerk to her.
Right. But this is what I'm thinking, Eli. And like I said, even though Florence Pugh is the protagonist, like I said, Bucky is still the leader, so it's still a white man leading his team.
Yeah, there you go.
So when you see. Right. So when you see the team, and like I said, it's just nothing but white people on there, and a white man's leading the team. It's mostly white people shooting guns, shit like that. That's why I think that's why they're saying Marvel is back, because they can relate to this, but they can't relate to Sam Wilson or Shang-Chi or the Eternals or the Marvels or whatever the fuck came out of it. Like you know what I'm saying?
And even the one minority, the black or multiracial chick is named Ghost.
She wears a mask most of the time, and she's British. So does that even count? I mean, I'm just saying. But here's the thing about it, what I'm saying. Like I said, before they cast, Bill Pullman's son as Sentry, they had Stephen Yeun. Mm-hmm. Now, for a fact, if they would have cast Stephen Yeun, an Asian dude, as the blonde, Aryan perfection and shit like that, these motherfuckers would have raised hell. Mm-hmm. But since they didn't do that. So I'm thinking, I almost want to say, Eli, that Marvel course corrected itself from that shit. Because not only that, because remember that movie? Damn, I can't. The Bear. You seen The Bear, right?
The Bear.
The Bear
with the bear in it in the woods and shit.
The cooking show. I never seen it. It's on FX. Okay.
No, I never watched that.
I never watched it either, but okay, I'm kind of just a bad analogy. Point is, there's a black chick on The Bear that won the Emmys and shit like that. She was supposed to be in this movie. But when the writer's strike happened, they, recast her also. So it's a lot of lack of, race diversity other than like Ghost and some other people in like that, but a lot of racial diversity in there, like lack of that. And they put that movie out there, and now people are saying Marvel is back because it's nothing but white people, just like the original Avengers movie. Now I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying I'm fine watching the movie. I'm not boycotting the movie because no black people in it. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. People do that shit, Eli. They really will do that shit. People were trying to boycott Thunderbolts because they wanted Sinners to be number one again this weekend.
Oh,
yeah. Like, why? You taking this shit too serious, man. Don't do that. So, yeah. All right. So,
yeah. I want someone else to get money.
Right. Like, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard, man. Don't do that shit. So, yeah. Watch what you want to watch, like what you want to like. That's it. So, yeah. Now, and here's the crazy thing. I said what I need to say about the movie, but I will say this, that Marvel has already spoiled the ending of the movie on their own website, on Facebook. You want to tell you the ending? I'll tell you the end. I kind of already told you the end.
Oh, you kind of already told me, so sure.
I kind of already told you the end. But after all that shit, after they had the therapy session with Century and shit like that in terms of Nightmare on the Street, so they actually Lane from Seinfeld announces them as the new Avengers. That's what the Thunderbolts asterisk was for. It was a placeholder for New Avengers. The movie is New Avengers.
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Matter of fact, I think they're even going to change the name literally of the movie next week, like in the theaters. It's called New Avengers.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's what they're gonna do. So yeah. Also, I'll give you another in that they had a second spoiler ending credit scene, shit like that. The Fantastic Four jump over from the dimension to this dimension. So yeah, that's it.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. You don't see them, you just see the ship, and the ship spins, and you see 4 on it, and you see that theme song. So that's it.
What's the theme song again?
Fantastic Four.
Oh,
you haven't heard it yet? Come on, Eli. It's stuck in your head.
I have.
It will be. Don't worry, Eli. It will be stuck in your head. It will be stuck in your head. You will know it. You will live it. You will learn it. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. So like I said, I like the movie. It is not the MCU movie that is turning the MCU on its head. Very enjoyable. Definitely better than Captain America: Brave New World. Definitely that. One of these days, I will rank like my favorite post Endgame MCU movies. We'll do that. I'm waiting for that Fantastic Four to come out before I make the list. But yeah, but overall, I'm giving the movie 4 out of 5. Enjoy a movie. If you like Marvel, it's Marvel. It's more Marvel. I mean, shit. But don't go in here thinking it's going to, turn you on your head and shit. Oh, maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe you'll cry, Eli, if you see the movie. I don't know. So, all right.
Yeah, well, I did not see it. It was full of characters I don't really care about.
Right, and I get that. Right, and that's the thing that like a lot of people don't know these characters because people don't watch the Disney Plus shows. They don't connect these characters anyway. So yeah. I think that made the box office suffer. They thinking they did the heavy lifting in Disney Plus, but they really didn't. So.
Yeah, I thought the Black Widow movie was hype.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Yelena is just even on fucking Hawkeye, she was just Same thing with Red Guardian.
Eli, maybe she may be one of my favorites post Endgame characters. Like I ain't saying definitely my favorite, but she's up there one of my favorites. Just the way she performed portraying.
And so, Ghost, I'm not an Ant-Man fan, so I don't give a shit. Ghost.
Honestly, I don't think they gave a shit. Ghost is just there, fill out the roster. Shit.
U.S.
She
Agent,
was the Hawkeye. She was the Hawkeye.
I feel like U.S. Agent could be an interesting character, but he's not.
I get it. Another controversy. Another thing I like about this movie, the chemistry of the team. I do think it was one of the strongest things about this movie. That just hearing them just going back and forth, how they interact. Because like I said, all their powers are the same, so that's not important. But how they interact and the personality like that was fun watching them bounce off each other. That made the movie for me. So yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, man, like I said, everyone's saying it's good, not just you.
No, Eli, I'm hearing a lot of people saying it sucked. That's what I'm saying. You're not hearing that?
Oh no, I've seen like people like other like comic fans of that are trustworthy sources.
Well, thank you, Eli. I appreciate that.
Because you the thing with you is you're honest because you'll know you'll like tell me if I'll like it or not.
Yeah,
because I know you like everything.
Right.
But then you're like, yeah, you'll probably dig on. Okay, I'll check it out. But
I try to look through that lens. I try to step outside myself on this shit sometimes. So,
yeah, but I've heard some people say that it's not all that, but it's still pretty good and still one of the better MCU movies in recent times. So, so yeah,
and it's one of the better ones that don't rely on the gimmicks. Like I said, we got Deadpool and Wolverine, we got No Way Home, but like I said, there was all gimmicks. Multiverse shenanigans, bullshit like that. This is just an original standalone movie, stand by itself. For that, Marvel did pretty good with that one. So
yeah. So I'll probably wait till Disney. Like you know what I mean. Like I wasn't excited to see this movie.
Right.
Like
and like I said, I wasn't trying to drag you to see this shit anyway. I was just like, I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to mention anything. I was going to talk about it. Whatever.
I'd rather go. I would rather go see Sinners again.
Right. Sinners is a much better movie. Somebody asked me, is this movie better than Sinners? Like, fuck no. I like looked at him crazy. Like, what the hell? Oh man. He was the one that cried at Thunderbolts, but yeah. All right. So can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Sure.
All right, we're bowling past it. Now we're gonna move to the video game section. We're gonna move to the video game section. Some stuff happened. Okay, some stuff that really happened. GTA 6, is it 6? 5? What are we on that? GTA 6, okay, 6 has announced their release date. And the release date is, which I can't see. Let me blow this up and see. May 28 or maybe 26. I can't. 2026. May 2026.
Like
That's
another year.
Another year. So they announced last year it was going to be released this year. Now releasing this year, it's going to be released next year. So there you go. So I don't know. Hopefully I'll live to 90 and hopefully I'll be able to.
You better feel them titties in a coming out of the screen when you go in those
meta and all this shit like that,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I better have glitter on my lip.
What is it? Striking Vipers? That black. Oh, you didn't see the Black Mirror episode. Yeah. All right. Also, moving on to the next video games section. So, like I said, we talked about your boy Trump. He strikes again. He is the gift. I'm part of 78%, Eli, so I don't count. So, yeah. All right. So, Xbox has announced a price increase for all their games and consoles, and it's happening this year. In the fall, all Xbox consoles are going up another $100. And all their games are selling for $80. So just the games the console that you already have. So you better hang on to that shit. So
yeah, well, it looks like I'm never getting that Fatal Fury game.
I really want it too.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, oh, I checked Game Pass just to see maybe they'll release it on Game Pass. Nope, $60.
Oh yeah, they're not putting that shit on $6. Oh, you know what? We never talked about the Final Fantasy Fatal what Furious Fast Furious. What the fuck game is
Fatal Fury?
That shit. Okay, yeah. Ronaldo's in the game, the soccer player. Like,
okay,
why? So I don't know. I just thought that shit was weird as fuck. Like he's showing up in there, so like that. It's like LeBron James and Tekken. That's what it's like. So it's not in there, but I'm saying that's what it would be like if that happened. So yeah. All right. All right, we're here. Eli, can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Sure.
Okay, we are here. We are the comic book bullies. Like I said, this is comic bullies. We're talking about comic books. We're gonna jump into it. Eli, you got way more books than me, so I'm gonna let you start off.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start out with. I do Spider-Man versus Godzilla. Godzilla versus Spider-Man.
Okay, Godzilla versus Spider-Man. Okay, I have no idea how that would work. I feel like that would be a one-panel splash page at the end, but they got to make the book work some kind of way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this takes place like in the 80s, I believe, because he's got the symbiote suit.
Okay.
So Spider-Man's got the symbiote suit. It's Black Spider-Man running around, the city.
Not Miles Morales, another Black Spider-Man.
It's Peter Parker. And they make references to. It's written totally like an old Spider-Man Stan Lee comic with the little edit. For more, check out Spidey number whatever.
Oh, like the John Romita run singing.
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, and all that, and he's running around. Yeah, he's fighting the Shocker, like, and he's talking about how cool the new suit is. He doesn't have to refill. He doesn't have to make webbing and all this shit. And he's getting bitched at by Jay Jonah. He's seeing Black Cat. But while they're fighting, Godzilla shows up.
Okay.
And starts tearing up the city. So he's like, oh shit. He's like, he tells Shocker, we better.
Black Cat's in this. Okay.
Yeah, Black Cat. Yeah. And they like have a thingy or whatever, or some sort of flirtatious shit going on. And Peter actually like is into it because he's got that black suit on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, so Godzilla shows up and he fucking Shocker's like, hey, let's not fight. We got bigger problems. So yeah,
okay.
So
that's cool. That's a cool ass panel right there, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So he decides to start getting everybody to safety. He goes to Mary Jane, saves her from the apartment, swings down, brings her to safety right where Black Cat is, and they start bickering and fighting and shit. Black Cat and Mary Jane are like, fighting over Peter and shit. So he's swinging, and then Godzilla roars, "Screonk!" and it freaks out the symbiote suit because loud noises,
loud sound, yeah.
Yeah, so he screonks, Godzilla roars, and the symbiote suit jumps off of Peter's body, gets all fucked up, and runs away. So Peter's got, like, he's just in his drawers, like, oh shit, where's my suit? What does the symbiote suit do? It jumps onto Godzilla.
Okay, I think somebody spoiled that for me, but yeah.
Yeah. So now we have Venom Godzilla, symbiote Godzilla, and since he's now bonded with Godzilla, Null finds out about it because all symbiotes are a hive mind. This is where the comic got cool.
Okay. No versus Godzilla. Okay, now I gotta see that. You might
Null is like, oh, okay, what's this fucking thing you're bonding with? I need to use it to take over the universe.
Shit, okay.
so now we have Venom Godzilla just wrecking the place. So Peter decides to go back to whatever laboratory, is it Doc Ock's laboratory or whatever, to get sort of some big sonic device, and he's on like or is it the Green Goblin? He's on like a hover thing, and he's got like these metal gauntlets and shit, and he goes and flies, and E.T. go to hell and does this big loud punch, and it basically frees Godzilla from the symbiote. But then the symbiote, having had bonded with Godzilla, is now a big giant, monster, controlled by Null, and then Godzilla just atomic blasts his ass and then fucking destroys it or whatever, sends it, basically fucks it up. Yes, you killed it, Godzilla, and then that's it. That's basically where it ends. Oh no, it doesn't end there. There's an epilogue. So, the city's all fucked up. It's all in rubbles and shit. People are like, being, under rubble and being digged out. And who comes crawling along, trying to get a hot scoop? Eddie Brock.
Okay.
And then he's like, sees a dead body in a rubble. He's, I'm going to take a picture of this and get money for it. And then the symbiote comes out of the rubble. Then bonds to Eddie Brock.
Right. For the first time.
And now,
yeah.
But this time, the symbiote has Godzilla.
Right.
Like,
Godzilla's DNA. So, yeah.
Yeah. So now you have God Venom. Eddie Brock is all like gnarly looking, like Godzilla, with like Godzilla, like dorsal fins and shit. And he looks all gnarly and shit. So God Venom or Venomzilla or whatever. So pretty cool. Right when when Godzilla showed up, that's where the book got good. At first, it was like super cheesy, and I get they were writing it that way. It was like a throwback to early Spider-Man comics, but it was getting like mad cheesy. Like at some point, Spider-Man, miss me, now you gotta kiss me. Like they actually wrote that.
Wow. I mean, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this is getting a little juvenile. But then when all the Null shit happened, okay, that was pretty cool. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5 for that. Because when Godzilla showed up and it turned into that whole battle, that's when it got good. So yeah, this was fun. And these Godzilla books, these Marvel Godzilla books have been fun. So yeah, another fun one. 4 out of 5.
Nice. So, all right. Boop. Okay. All right. So, okay. So let's stick with the Spider-Man theme. Like I said, we went from the 616. Now we're going to go to the 1610, I think.
Ultimate. This is the Ultimate.
Yeah, the ultimate. Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man is where we're at right now, which is a big plot twist spoiler. Well, like I said, if you've been on the internet, you probably know what's going on in this book because all hell breaks loose in this book. Big spoiler twist. I guess I tell you, it basically involves Gwen Stacy, but we won't say what it is right now. But if you just look at the cover, you kind of figure out what's going on. So yeah. Spider-Man 16, and we're gonna go from there. And yeah, let's see what we got. So the book starts off with Spider-Man. No, Gwen Stacy, because it's Gwen Stacy is pretty much the star of this book right here. It's pretty much all about her, and she's visiting Harry Osborn's grave.
Remember when back to that book of the Savage Land?
Yeah.
And I said, do you think that really happened? I called it.
You did. I mean, like I said, Mysterio was all around there. So it's like, anything could happen. So,
yeah.
So the thing is, so we get a flashback of talking to her father, and her father, telling her, I guess, about her mom, stuff like that. And she was just saying, don't worry, things will live on, blah, 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 all that stuff like that. And then we see her, on a date with Harry. And Harry and them get along. She's saying she don't like rich people. And she was like, well, I love you. And, they do anything and stuff like that. Anyway, we talked to him later on, and then we find out that there's something else going on with her father. He was like, no, don't worry, because some people come looking for me, but don't worry. Just remember, you understand the truth, because everything in life is, I start going and shit like that. You're like, whoa, what the fuck going on with this? And it turns out Gwen Stacy is Mysterio, or one of the Mysterios.
Like the Council of Mysterio.
Yeah, Council of Mysterios, shit like that. So it's like 5 of them, and she's one of them right there. So they all got Mysterio powers, Mysterio cult, whatever shit like that. And this is the craziest shit. What they start reading, the reason they're this in this cult, because they believe that this world is a lie and there's a true world out there.
There's an Illuminati. There's an Illuminati figure.
Illuminati.
And and they're right, because it's the maker.
It's the maker, right? So everybody else thinks it's conspiracy. Yeah.
Yeah, they're aware that somebody is doing some shit.
Right. And Quentin Beck, the 616 Mysterio is in this one. And I guess he started this cult. He was like, nah, all this shit is fake. We got to find the truth. So like I said, we got the wedding day storm going on right there. They get married. And, Gwen has a dance with Norman. And you hear some talking going on. This threw me off, Eli, when Norman says to Gwen, you could have did better than him. And Gwen says to him, I told your wife the same thing. So I'm hoping Hickman is not doing what I think he's doing. Because there's a story that was written in the regular Spider-Man comics where Norman Osborn and Gwen Stacy were getting it on. Because Norman knew Peter was Spider-Man, so he did this shit just to fuck with him. So, I don't know. Point is, Norman Osborn, like, no matter what you do, just promise me one thing.
You talking about like the old shit where didn't he knock her up or something?
Yes, that shit.
That's some old shit.
That's some old shit. I think they've retconned that out because we raised hell over that shit. But yeah, I hope Hickman's not doing that shit. But yeah. So basically Norman tells Gwen, just remember, whatever you do, make sure Harry does not stand in the way of your mission. And now he realized that whatever the fuck's going on, Norman knows what's going on. All right. So and we pretty much got, so Harry gives her a copy of Dr. Voodoo's book. He's here because he's here, but he's not a superhero because they do this shit. And he's basically
is that
writing
what
a
that
book.
Was?
Yeah, he's Jericho Drum. That's Dr. Voodoo.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering about that.
Yeah. And basically the book is about how there's 2 worlds, how there's a true world and a because I guess Dr. Voodoo can see it also. Because he does voodoo shit, so he can see the real world versus the worlds that are lie, shit like that. And she just like,
I was thinking it was some sort of some shit like the Darkhold, but it was like really expensive. He had to like blow a fortune on getting the book for her.
Yeah, it was just like a book about conspiracy theories and stuff. He like, I know you like conspiracy theories. You read. He like, why it's a conspiracy theory, right? Because the maker outlawed this book. He doesn't want anybody reading this book to know the truth, but he just thinks it's a conspiracy series. He basically looking at her like a flat earther, basically. So, meanwhile, they're like, no, we know the real world. We know what's out there. We know the maker is out there doing this bullshit. And we have so much time prepared to stop him from doing what he's doing. So, yeah. So she like, don't worry, I will out. And then she only married Harry to kind of like trick him into get close and to see what the hell's going on. That's not what she did. So Harry, and so we get these flashbacks, and we read all this stuff before, but now we're seeing what Gwen's was really thinking was going on right there. She was everything she was saying, she was manipulating everybody around her with Mysterio shit. Same way she got Harry to trick Harry into giving her the files of Norman Osborn. So now she saw all that shit that they thought was going on. They know what's going on. They got the footage of, the Confederacy and the maker and everybody running. Like, they know that shit now. She knows it. And she gave it back to Mysterio telling her, okay, we know what we need to do. We need to take him out. So, yeah. And you were right. They didn't kill Harry. She did some Mysterio shit where she made everybody think Harry died and basically made Peter leave. But she was like, "You fucking with my plans." And then I don't think it was her. I think it was the other. It was like another Mysterio there, but she's there also. And the Mysterio picks up the gun and bam, shoots Craven in the head. We didn't see this part. We didn't see Craven die. So, and yeah, so that's it. He care like, what the fuck is going on, man? So now, Harry faked his death, and she basically telling him, like, look, now that you're dead, you know the truth about what's going on, and we need to prepare. But while he's doing it, I guess it's another Green Goblin running around right now, but they don't know who it is. So yeah, and I think what's going on, I guess Harry joined them, like he's a Mysterio also. Like, could you see that shit? So
yeah, he joined the Cabal or whatever, or
yeah,
can he?
whatever's going on.
Or he's like, because what I understand, like she took her dad's place or some shit.
Yeah, because her dad died, so she, Captain Stacy or whatever. Fuck.
Yeah, Captain Stacy was part of the Council of Mysterios, and then he died,
right?
And she took his place,
right?
So, but she let Harry know, I guess. So,
right, she let Harry know his son, but it seems like Harry is a Mysterio also now. I don't know how he got in. I don't know if 5 is a rule or maybe they let 6 in. I don't know. But nah, this was a trippy ass book, man. Because I knew the Gwen Stacy shit was gonna happen because people spoiled online, but I didn't think they were gonna go that deep with it. Where this conspiracy theory, but the conspiracy is all real and shit. I was like, oh, that shit trippy, man. Hey, man, 5 out of 5, man. I'm giving this book a 5 out of 5. Hickman.
This is Hickman finally Hickman.
This is I was like, okay, Hickman's going because he's about to write a story. So he was like, okay, let me start throwing some haymakers in here. Let me start some fastballs.
Yeah, because this book has been fun. It's another version of the Spider-Man. It's a retelling of Spider-Man. It's the familiar beats, but it's still told in a way that it's still fresh, you know, which is what I've been digging, you know. And there's some little cool things here and there, but this is the bot. Like when Hickman drops those bombs, you know, like, oh, this is who Gwen is. Like, we already knew Gwen was doing some shit.
Because they didn't add up. Like, what the hell's going on with her, right?
Yeah, in this universe, Gwen is the CEO of the company of the Stark Industries who bought out this, and she's it's a different version of Gwen Stacy. Blah 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 blah. She's married to Harry, and alternate version of Gwen, and we kind of took it for that, you know. But this says, oh shit. She's a Mysterio. And
she's been manipulating this shit the whole time. Like, she did that shit to take over Oscorp for a reason. And it's like this book has, first off, like when it first started, I like this book. I mean, I love this book, actually. It was just like a slice of life Spider-Man book, and I was fine with it. I would have bought it just for that. But then Hickman had to come out there, I got some other shit. Wait till I drop this shit. Bam. And you're like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Yeah. This is that shit that Hickman tends to do.
Yeah, he always does this shit. Right.
It usually takes him like a year to get there, which is about how long this book has been going on. Well, over a year, 16 issues. But yeah, this was like, oh shit.
Like I said, we always read Hickman for the payoff. That's the thing. It's always a payoff.
And I've been reading this book. Oh, this is just Hickman. You know, I know he's writing multiple books. This is just probably his fun book, his fun.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, damn.
Oh damn, he got another world he built here.
Right. All like the tapestry going around and shit.
Yeah, this blew it way open. Like, holy shit. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Spider-Man isn't even in this book. That's the fucked up part about it.
Yeah. I thought this was pretty cool. That's why I was like, I was like, damn, did you read that Ultimate? I was like, yeah.
Okay. I read it. Cool. I was like, man, this fucked me up. Let me read this shit again, man. What you got next?
I guess I'll do that Bitterroot.
Boom. Okay.
Bitterroot, the next movement, number 2.
Okay, I think we do need to talk about this, about that story David Walker dropped on his Instagram.
Okay, yeah.
About Sinners. We never talked about it. Okay. So I wish I could have got the footage. I didn't get a chance to actually like record the footage of it. But basically, David Walker, the writer of Bitterroot, came out and said Sinners is not based on Bitterroot. They're two different things. Stop saying that shit. Stop coming at them. So he also said the Center Roots movie is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
which is too bad because I was really
that's bad. So So
really excited for that one. But oh well. But But yeah, so Bitterroot is if you like Sinners, y'all, check out Bitterroot.
right. So y'all going to see it 4-5 times trying to boycott Thunderbolts and shit. So yeah.
And Philadelphia. Read Philadelphia as
also,
well. Yeah. Bitterroot. So Bitterroot is about this family of demon slayers in Harlem. Back in the first series was like in 1912 during the early 1900s. You know, and it was basically about these demons that feed on hatred and negative energy called Jinyu. And at the time, there was all the racial unrest at the time.
They were doing like the Harlem Renaissance, the first run, right?
Yeah, it was about the Harlem Renaissance. That's where they grew up. That's where this family of demon fighters lived in Harlem, like in the 1910s. You know, and they fought these demons that sort of fed off of the negative energy at the time. So it was like a sort of metaphor for racism. You know, so that's the first arc. The first series. It's basically like Evil Dead meets Blade, you know. And so the next movement, this series, it takes place in the 60s. So during the civil rights time. So all the like characters from the first series are all grown up now. Like the kids, they're all grown up, and now they're demon fighters, and they got these, you know, the different technology, that sort of 1950s space age, you know, ray guns and stuff. It's got that like sort of aesthetic, you know,
that atomic age. But
that sort of atomic age aesthetic to their weapons and stuff. It looks like they got ray guns and stuff. And so they go to the South. They go to Mississippi to find some freedom riders that went missing, who were basically attacked by Jinyu, who are thought to have been killed off. No one. They all thought that.
Do you see? Is this a homage to the Warriors?
Yeah.
Kind of. Boppers. Okay.
Yeah. You know, nowhere to run to, nowhere
baby.
to hide. Yeah.
Okay.
So, they go. A couple of the family go down there to go investigate, and they're not supposed to kill the demons because they want to capture one so they can they need proof that there still exists. That, and again, symbolism that racism still exists. So that's going on, and at the end of the book, they get attacked by a bunch of demons, and then all of a sudden, somebody comes out of the woods and takes out a bunch of the demons, and they're like, "What the hell? Like, you're not supposed to kill them." And it's like, "I just saved your life." And it's a dude in he's got a wicked ass astronaut suit on with the guns and shit. And then he takes off his mask, and it's Dr. Sylvester. So Dr. Sylvester was a familiar character. His family was killed in the Tulsa bombing. So he kind of was trying to get a cure. He was trying to cure the Jinyu, but now he's here. Like, "I just saved your life. You know, I'm here to help you." And they're like, "We don't need your help." Not your kind of help, you know. So there's like sort of this, you know, this tension between the two families and stuff. But no, that's where it ends. That, you know, he's here. He's in the fray now. He's ready to help with the mission, and yeah, that's where it says to be continued. You know, and yeah, there was another cool part where the aunt was. They're in the South. They're in Mississippi, 1960, whatever. And you know, they're supposed to get help from the FBI, the family, the demon fighting family, you know, but some of the local police are all you know, it's Mississippi in the 60s, so they're all being all racist and shit, you know. But there's a cool scene where she talks shit. She goes up to the racist sheriff and talks shit, mad shit to him. It's like Reggie in 48 Hours in the redneck bar, you know?
Right.
It's like that, which, you know, I think is there's something about those scenes that are really satisfying. You know what I mean? You know, even though it's a power fantasy, but just that, you know, the oppressed speaking truth to power is always just a satisfying scene, you know, for us, I guess.
Like Mr. T slapped the shit out that officer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there was that was pretty cool. So this is like I said, this is one of my favorite books right now, and I love the first series. Bummed that it's not a movie anymore. But yeah, this is cool. Now in every issue, they usually have interviews with different, like black philosophers and, activists and stuff that talk about the themes of the comic and stuff like that, but there's an interview, here we go. There's this interview from some guy in Jackson, Mississippi. He's a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Philip DJ Venom Young or
Yep,
DJ Young
Rollins.
Rollins.
I know him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Shout out to Offbeat. I wish I should have got something to pray, but he runs a comic book shop. He runs a comic book store downtown called Offbeat. It's a record store / comic book shop / memorabilia /
vinyl.
Yeah, vinyl, whatever you got, he got it. Offbeat been running over 10 years now down on State Street. So yeah. So big deal. It's a hot spot for everything. So yeah. Eli, I performed there before.
No shit. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about that. Yeah. But there's an interview with them. Yeah. There's an interview with them in here where he talks about like how hip hop and comics, like the cultures, sort of crossover hip hop and comics and stuff like that, and how hip hop helps the community and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a little interview with them in there. So yeah. So you do know him.
I know him. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shoot. All right. So anything else we got or
don't you got any more books?
I got one more. Like I said, we're gonna talk about Free Comic Book Day. Okay. I didn't participate in Free Comic Book Day because like I said, they were doing Free Comic Book Day down at Offbeat. I had to work. So but they did do it. But I will talk about this one thing. I guess I'll talk about DC All In. Did you read this one?
There's an All In Free Comic Book Day special.
Yeah, that one. The free All In comic book special. I'm gonna show you a picture of it. That one?
The one with Jeff Lemire, Mirror or whatever?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know. But did it look like that?
Yeah, Superman Unlimited, and on the back it says
it was like
universe.
It was like a bunch of stories in it. Yeah. But I just talk about the Superman one real quick. I'll just review that one real quick. Talk about it, even though other shit did happen. But all right, so the book starts off with this is what I want to talk about right here. I can't see her name. What was her name? Something Edge. Can't remember the first name of it. But point is, this is Morgan Edge's ex-wife.
Imani Edge.
Imani Edge. That's who he was. Morgan Edge's ex-wife. Morgan Edge used to own the Daily Planet back in the days like that. She owns it now. And basically, she wants to do a multimedia conglomerate. She wants to go from Gotham to Themyscira and put, Daily Planet, buildings everywhere all over the country. I mean, all over the world. So they can be the first people to announce everything. And then Clark Kent shows up and shit like that. What we going to do about this? But point is, she wants to nominate Lois Lane as the leader of her conglomerate she's doing right there, basically saying she wants Lois Lane to be the most powerful woman in the world. Lois Lane lost her powers. That whole superwoman shit, that's the thing. That's done now. So yeah. And while all this stuff going on, while she's about to get promoted and be and stuff like that, Clark leaves because you got Superman shit going on like that. And when he leaves, she's like, "So you better go most powerful woman in the world. It's the most important day in your life, and your husband just leaves." You're like, "Well, he gotta leave. I got him on Superman duty. So wherever he's at, there's a job." And Superman just saves people. Yeah, and saves people. And saves people. And saves people. And saves people. All this shit. Anyway, you get a call from the Justice League, and they get a call that this metal called inertium or whatever the fuck it is like that. It's from the 31st century. And Superman's like, why is it here? And how can I stop it? Because it's invincible. I can't, I'm not strong. I'm not strong to break this metal. But I got to stop it before it hurls to the, earth and destroys the earth. So he rams right into it, and he is able to break it, but he's only able to break it because on the inside of the metal, it's kryptonite. It was a trap. Yeah. The end. Let me continue. I don't know. Whatever fuck. So yeah.
And Superman Unlimited #1.
Yeah, Dan Slott wrote it. So yeah. Other shit
Okay,
happens,
yeah.
don't care. Point is, I think I think what's going on because you got a whole bunch of Legion of Superhero shit popping up in the regular DC universe. I think because all that Dark Side is absolute universe, like fucking up the timeline. I think that's what it is. So they don't know that yet, but they're gonna figure it out. But yeah.
Yeah, so I got that. I do have that.
Mhm.
But on the other side, in the other story is this going to be that event? Not Avengers. What the fuck are they called?
Mirror Master. You talking about Mirror Master?
It just says All In, but Jeff Lemire wrote it. But it looks like it's going to be a Justice League book.
Okay,
you know, in the absolute universe, like an absolute Justice League.
Hold up, you talking about absolutely. You talking about this panel right here?
Is that it?
Okay. Reason I'm saying that because I haven't read that Absolute Flash book, but I think this might be
this Mirror guy,
So I think that's the Absolute Mirror Master, like the Mirror Master in the Absolute Universe. But since he got the power, like go through mirrors and dimensions like that, I think he can walk back and forth through that shit. So he walks through it, and he can walk through it, and they see the dark side is Omega.
Yeah, the dark
like
side,
that.
the Omega sign and shit. Yeah.
But the Mirror Master from the regular universe hops over to the Absolute Universe and meets the Absolute Mirror Master. So I guess they about to compare notes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. I may be completely off, but that's what it seemed like. So yeah.
Yeah, because it goes through. We see like Absolute Superman, Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman,
Absolute Flash, Absolute Martian Manhunter. So
yeah,
Absolute Green Lantern. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I did get that. I did get that was one of the free because I did go to Free Comic Book Day.
You did not at Offbeat, but yeah.
No, Level Up. Shout out to Level Up. Yeah.
Okay, I was saying you got a DJ.
No, they did have like magic, like gaming shit there. You know?
Oh yeah, you got to do that. You got to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I did like back in when it was at the South St. Paul location. I did know, like, I do know the owner and shit, and he was talking about trying to get events, like other events happening, and I did talk to him about like, hey, I'm in a band. Would you mind having like a metal show here? And then we got bands, and he was like, yeah, that would be cool, but it never happened. You know, getting a PA and all that shit set up, and then finding a night to do it, which would probably be on a weekend, which would be one of the nights that they have their gaming night. They would have to cancel a gaming night, and so yeah, never happened. But yeah, I went to Free Comic Book Day. I a bunch of books. There was a Godzilla book with a bunch of like Tim Seeley's writing all these like Godzilla versus Chicago, Godzilla versus LA, the whole new like series of like American Godzilla books coming out. So
nice to meet you too, Mr. Raccoon.
Oh yeah, thanks for listening. There's a Fantastic Four. There's shit on the Ultimate Universe. Some Star Wars previews. But I gotta say, one of the standouts again for me was the Energon Universe special.
Okay.
3 stories. This is where the Transformers and G.I. Joe are crossing over. There's a Void Rival story that I'm not familiar with because I don't read Void Rivals, but they had the Sharkticons in it. So I was like, maybe one of these days I might have to just break down and read Void Rivals just to get some, fill in the blanks.
It's probably important. It's probably some important stuff in there.
Yeah, it was the first one. It was the first one to preview Transformers and G.I. Joe. Like, this is coming, so. And then, of course, there was a G.I. Joe, which was a continuation of the last issue where Clutch is in Hound. Like, Clutch leaves the Joes, he's driving in a Jeep, and then the Jeep transforms into Hound, the Transformer, the Autobot.
Nice.
And they start fighting. He's like, what the hell are you? And, of course, Clutch is like, oh, shit, it's one of those giant robots that's been killing everybody. And he starts, like, throwing grenades at it and shit. And he throws he's like, I'm after the Energon. Where did you humans get Energon? If you want an Energon? Here. And he throws an Energon grenade at Hound and, like, blows him up and fucks him up.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And so he's like, "What the hell? I'm here to help you. I'm not you. I'm a good giant robot." He's like, "Oh, my bad." Well, he's like, "Now I'm fucked up. I can't transform." He's like, "Oh, well, hell, I'll take you to my friend. He's got an auto shop back, So he takes him to Tracker. He's another GI Joe, and they basically repair him and shit. And Clutch is saying, "Hey, if you ever want to you know, I know you like working alone, but I'm on this new squad called G.I. Joe, and we can use all the help, blah, 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 blah. And while he's working on Hound, Ravage shows up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Ravage, one of the tapes that comes out of Soundwave, transforms into
Because
Laser
Soundwave's
Beak.
been in these things, right?
Yeah, he was like leading. He like killed Starscream at one point and was like leading the Decepticon.
Okay.
And you know, the tapes that he pulls out, Ravage, Laserbeak, Rumble, you know. Anyway, Ravage is. I always thought Ravage was like a wolf, like a black wolf. It turns out he's a Black Panther.
Oh, really?
Knew that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I never knew either. Okay.
I always just thought he was like a dog, like a black dog or something, or a black wolf.
So they actually said it like he was a panther?
No, I actually Googled it, and he actually does have like feline features in this.
I mean, yeah, when you say it, yeah, when you think about it, yeah.
Yeah, so okay, he's like a Black Panther. And yeah, I did Google. He was a Ravage is a Black Panther, not a wolf, not a dog. So, anyways, Ravage shows up. He's attracted to the energon that Clutch had, and there's a big fight. And Ravage is right about to jump on Clutch, but then Hound gets off the bed or whatever, the thing he was being worked on, and fucks him up. Hits him, sends fucking Ravage flying, and says, "Hey, thanks for saving my life and thanks for repairing me." Blah 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 blah. And then basically says to Clutch, "Hey, let's roll. We got things to discuss." So they drive off into the sunset, Clutch and Hound. So that was pretty cool. And then there was also a Transformers little short about Jazz. And Jazz was the car who was I always thought it was metal. I don't know if you remember the cartoons. Jazz would always play loud music, and it always sounded like metal, and it would like disrupt everybody.
We claim Jazz too.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Panther. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but in the cartoons, Jazz would play like loud music and like disrupt everybody, like make everybody confused. Turn that racket down, and you know, and then but this one, it turns out he was back on Cybertron. He was in a band. He did play jazz, you know. Okay. And at one point, he had such a love of music that he had to choose between fighting the war or music, you know. And he chose to fight the war. You know, now it's on Cybertron, you know. And then back now, we fast forward to Earth now, and you know, the Autobots are driving to their next mission, you know, and Jazz hears some sounds. He's like, "Wait, Optimus, let me go check something out." And he rolls up to like a lounge, like a bar, like a lounge, and he goes up to the window and he looks in the window, and it's a jazz band playing. Okay. And Optimus Prime, is this what you've been searching for? He's like, "No, but it's pretty close." So yeah. So that was a pretty cool comic. And then I picked up a couple of trades for Philadelphia. I fell off Philadelphia years ago. It was, you know, but because I'm in a vampire mood lately, after reading Buffalo, Hunter x Hunter, and Sinners, I should try and catch up on Philadelphia. So, for those who don't know, yes, if you like Sinners, read Philadelphia. It's about vampires in Philadelphia, and some of these characters are like ex-slaves and shit, and you know that are been alive since like the slavery days, and now they're vampires in Philadelphia.
Who's writing Philadelphia?
Rodney Barnes.
Rodney Barnes. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a whole shared universe. There was that one werewolf book that he did. What the fuck was it called? Elysium something. But it's a shared universe. Like there's a werewolf book where they were like old African werewolves, like from Africa, like an African tribe of warriors that became werewolves and now have been alive for centuries. And then they pop up in like the 60s during the civil rights. So again, it's like using horror and monsters with like a political angle, like a political commentary as a metaphor. Like monsters are a metaphor for civil unrest at the time. So yeah, these werewolves pop up in civil rights 60s, you know, That was pretty cool. And then he's got another one, Nightmare Blog or something. It's about like the demon world. In this universe, a demon world exists. There's demons and shit. I haven't not read that one. But yeah, it's a whole, like, Philadelphia has spun off into other books. Like, there's a whole shared universe. So yeah, y'all check out Philadelphia. They're pretty cool. Oh shit, I didn't fucking review Grommets yet.
Yeah, I don't have a thing for it, but yeah, I can switch to it. So.
Yeah. This is my book of the week.
Okay.
My book of the year. I don't know. Grommets. It's a coming of age story written by Rick Remender and Brian Posehn about skater punk kids in the 80s. You know, this kid moves to a new town. He's a reject. He's an outcast. He listens to punk rock and metal, and he's a skateboarder. He has no friends, but then he meets one of the few skateboarders in town. They become friends, and they start hanging out and all that, partying and stuff. The last issue, they got beat up. They had a party, and they got beat up by a bunch of jocks, you know, and then they got arrested, you know. So this issue, they're at the cop station being questioned, and the cops are like, you know, what were you punks doing, you low lives, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, no, those guys are assholes. They beat us up. Like, they're all fucked up. They all got black eyes and shit. Like, they beat us up and shit. They're like assholes, you know. But the cops don't believe them. You know, the cops are like, no, you low lives aren't going to ruin our star quarterback's life, you know, because the jocks are like, they're the football team, you know.
Right.
They're athletes.
It almost sounded like Cobra Kai, but yeah.
Yeah, basically, you know, but that's how it was, you know. For those who don't know, if you were a punk or a metalhead or a skateboarder, you were pretty much persecuted. It wasn't fashionable back then. You know, metal and punk rock were looked down upon, you know, and if you were a fan of it, you were pretty much dismissed as a lowlife. And yeah, cops would beat you up, you know, and like that. So, yeah, it wasn't fashionable back then, you know. So it deals with that. But anyways, the kid is moving. His dad is like his dad got a new job and he's moving again. And he's feeling bad about moving again. You know, he just met this chick, you know, and then his friend, he finally made a skater friend, and, you know, so there's that going on. But then they end up moving, but then it turns out that his friend is also moving too. And they're moving to the same city, and that they're going to be there the next month. And he's like, oh, so it's got kind of a happy ending. Like, oh, I'm not moving away again, and being in a new city with no friends again, you know. So there's like a little epilogue where the kid finally, like, they're hanging out in the new city and shit, and they're trying to like find places to skate, and they happen upon a half pipe. Like, some punk rockers built their own half pipe, you know, and they go up to them like, hey, we're skaters too. Let's all hang out. And of course, these like guys, they're like, nope, locals only, you know. And then they're like, fuck you, posers and shit. You guys are just jocks with skateboards and shit. Talks a bunch of shit and let's get out of here. And then the fucking the guy, the punk goes, okay, well, you can skate. We'll let you skate this half pipe if you drop in on it. And it's like a really big half pipe, you know. So it shows the last panel is the kid getting on the half pipe and ready to drop in, and then it just cuts to black and it says the end. And I love this. Like, I actually got little.
Is that it? Like,
that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. So it doesn't really show you if he made it or not, but still, it's like it's just all about the emotional climax, you know. That this made me. I really related to this because I was a metalhead punk in the 80s and dealt with similar shit, and I did move around a lot, you know. When I was a kid, I was always like the new kid in every city, because I moved every few years, and that's probably why I read a lot of comic books because you know, 'cause I would have to make new friends in every town and then leave them, you know. So yeah, I got a little emotional reading it. Like it actually, I related to it. So yeah, I love this series. Like, this has consistently been one of my favorite books. And now that's, yeah, I'll probably pick up the trade whenever it comes out. But yeah, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. I really love this book. So yeah, art's cool too. And it makes a lot of references to, you know, punk bands and metal bands and skater references, Animal Chin and Bones Brigade and, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, I love this book. So yeah, 5 out of 5.
Nice. Okay. All right. Shoot, I guess that's it. Any other books we got or?
No, I went through. I mean, I did. There was another honorable mention for the G.I. Joe Silent Mission book. It was Duke this week.
Oh yeah, I figured you didn't want to read the Duke book.
Oh, Duke kicks ass with
Okay.
no words.
Okay.
It's the same shit. Only this time it's Duke. He beats up goes on a mission and beats up a bunch of Cobra guys and no words. And it's just action. It's fun, you know. So honorable mention that, you know.
Nice. Okay.
You know?
All right. So that's it. Like I said, we gave y'all plenty of show. So, yeah. If you listen this long, definitely like, share, subscribe. If you listen longer than 30 seconds, you have helped out the algorithm. We really appreciate you for that. And yeah, that's it. So like I said, I don't know what we got next week. I'm pretty sure something will come on. Maybe we'll catch up with Andor. I don't know. Will it be over next week, or we got some more?
No, there's like 6. That's only like halfway through.
Damn,
like
really?
A few more weeks of it. Yeah.
Shit.
I didn't even watch the last episode. Yeah.
I didn't either, but I figured you did.
Yeah, I'll catch up this week. Yeah, what is coming out? Probably another. What is it? Godzilla versus X-Men?
Probably so.
Yeah, because those have been cool. Like the Spider-Man. Yeah, these are all been fun. Oh, and I forgot to mention that in that book, the reason why Godzilla shows up is because he sensed Venom. He sensed the symbiote. He only awakens. He only awakens.
Like another monster, and
yeah, he only awakens when there's another otherworldly threat. So that's why he was attracted to New York, because Spider-Man was wearing the symbiote suit. That's why he came.
Interesting. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, we'll catch y'all guys next week. We'll figure out what we're going to do. Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time, same bullet channel.